Welcome to New Life Live with Stephen Arterburn. For 35 years, New Life has been transforming lives one at a time thanks to the giving hearts of you, our listeners. Our goal is to provide you with wisdom from God's Word to give you hope and help in life's hardest places. If you have a question you'd like to ask today, our phone lines are open. Call 1-800-229-3000. That number again is 1-800-229-3000. Now here's today's host, Becky Brown.
Hello, everybody, and Happy New Year. If you haven't been told Happy New Year, it is 2024, and I know you're all trying to remember when you write that date out that it is actually 2024. It kind of feels weird, but change is good. Change is good. I am so glad to see Dr. Alice Benton and Dr. Jacqui Mack-Harris with us in the studio, and we're going to take your calls today for a couple hours. 1-800-229-3000, and what a great way to start the new year with answering some of the challenges that you have. One of the things that we've been talking about is the aftermath of the holidays. Some of you had great Norman Rockwell experiences, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, it's that picture perfect, everybody loves each other. Nobody says a crossword. Nobody has any irritable feelings. But you know what? A lot of you were holding your breath during those visitations. And, I wonder, how do you begin to deal with the things that you've been avoiding when it comes to family connections, or maybe it's not even family, maybe it's within your own household family. How do we deal with those feelings when we have the challenges in relationships, and holidays highlight that?
I think we need to pick our battles and decide with prayer and thoughtfulness what is worth addressing, because love should cover a lot of minor offenses. And so if possible, it's good to let things go. But if you find that thoughts and negative feelings are simmering and are not going away through prayer, then it probably is a sign that something needs to be said. And if we can lead with humility and with some gratitude about something good in the relationship, that then helps our listener to receive a little information about a struggle we're having with them.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you, Alice. Pick your battles. Everything doesn't need to be a knockdown, drag out. And I always stop and ask myself, why did that upset me so much? So if there is some conflict with someone else, I want to look inside first and figure out what's going on with me, because I might just be having a bad hair day. And so now it's affecting me in a way that's going to cause conflict, and this other person is completely oblivious. And if my family and my friends, I often say, if I do something to offend you, please tell me. It gives me the opportunity to correct it or to explain why I said or did what I did. We need to have a conversation about it. And so just open lines of communication being the norm, I think, can make the holidays much easier. And preparing. With all my clients, we talk about what's the holidays going to be like. What's your plan? What's your family's traditions? How are you going to navigate it? Because you're right, Becky, there is a lot that goes, there's so much more than the gift giving and the sitting around the table for a good meal that happens at the holiday season.
And a lot of times in families, we go back into the role that we had from birth. I'm the youngest in my family, and so a lot of times that is the one that doesn't have any responsibilities, which I like that sometimes. My job was always to set the table, but other than that, they weren't looking to me for answers or whatever. But it's interesting because as we grow and we learn, we can also avoid having some really vulnerable conversations that will actually bring us closer together. We don't have to resolve, like you said, both of you were talking about don't pick your battles, but don't make everything the hill you're going to die on. Decide what is the thing that you have to deal with. And of course, we can help you with that. If you had some of those issues come up when you were sitting around the table or dropping gifts off, give us a call, 1-800-229-3000. Wouldn't it be great to start into this new year with some resolve? We talk about resolutions. Let's talk about resolve. Resolve that I'm not going to let things just go. I'm going to deal with my feelings about them. I'm going to look for healing, and we can help you with that. We'll be right back after this break, taking your calls. We're glad you're with us today.
It had become very apparent that some of the things I was involved with were taking over my life.
In today's world, men are barraged with inappropriate content and images all day, every day. Some say that certain behaviors are just no big deal. They're just part of being a guy. But it's simply not true. It's a battleground for every man, and the opportunities to fail are everywhere. The Every Man's Battle Intensive can help.
After 7 years, he just, in one weekend, came back a completely changed man.
For over 20 years, New Life Ministries has been helping men regain their integrity and purity through their one-of-a-kind Every Man's Battle Intensive.
He said this is something that every man should go to. Married, dating, it was definitely life-changing.
Now the intensive is coming to Washington, D.C., January 12th to the 14th. Don't wait for him to call. To find out more, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE or go to newlife.com.
I just can't say enough of what New Life has done for our marriage.
1-800-NEW-LIFE. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
Welcome back. We're taking your calls for a couple hours, 1-800-229-3000, and we have some calls coming in and have some space for more, so give us a call, 1-800-229-3000. Right now we are going to talk with Eric, who's calling us from Effingham, Illinois. And he listens online. You can too at newlife.com or at lots of different places. We got the app. We've got we want to be there for you. We got a podcast. But right now we're going to talk to Eric. How are you, Eric, and how can we help you today?
Well, I'm doing well today. Thanks for taking my call. The reason I'm calling is I'm just looking for some direction. I've got a daughter that just graduated college back in May, and she's living at home, trying to work on some certifications for her career, and we're having some problems with her. I think she's dealing with some depression, some anxiety. She's always willing to get help, but she never really follows through with anything. And that's a big problem that we're seeing quite a bit of is, she's got a dog. She makes appointments for the dog, doesn't bring the dog to the appointments. She's got doctor's appointments we've made for her that she doesn't show up for. She keeps, I need to do that. Recently, she's in her cousin's wedding. She was supposed to order a dress for that, and she didn't till. She was really almost pushed into doing that. So it's following through on some things. Believe she's using some cannabis products, and I think that's more of a symptom of some of her other problems. I don't know if she's trying to medicate with that or what. She doesn't know that we know she does that, but, we do know that. Just a lot going on where she's trying to, she's just not really thriving, as I guess is a good way to say it, or put it.
Eric,
she doesn't respond to texts from friends.
Is this a change in functioning for her, or has this been going on for many years with her?
It's been going on for about a little over a year. She had a breakup with a long-term boyfriend, and that kind of started this spiral. And I think that it's just they've kind of worked things out and got back together, but I think it's just still stems from that. That's when we saw the biggest change. She doesn't take care of herself and things.
So Eric, how can we help you the best? What would your question be that we could?
So my question is, we would like to approach her and be able to bring this up and then give suggestions on how to move forward. She's agreed to talk to therapists, and again, she doesn't follow through with that stuff. If we make appointments, she doesn't, get to, I missed that. I'm sorry, I forgot. And it's just kind of that over and over and over again. So what we would like to do is to be able to motivate her in some way, or even incentivize her to do what I think she needs to do to kind of get back on track.
Okay. Let's hear from Jacqui. Go ahead.
Did she struggle in school at all before she went away to college?
No.
So she never had any issues with not following through, not doing assignments?
She's always gotten things done, and she's always been a hard worker. She's very smart, academically talented, and she's always done well in school, and it's never really been a struggle for her. Sometimes a little bit of a detriment because she is so smart that she just doesn't have to work that hard sometimes.
Okay.
So,
You said that she's using cannabis products, but she doesn't know that you all know. What
Right.
would a conversation with her about the cannabis products be? Like, do you feel like you want to have her stop using that? Are you curious about that? What kind of conversation could you have with her about
I'd like to know
cannabis?
I'd like to know if she's just using it for recreational purposes or if she's trying to medicate with it. And also, I mean, if she's trying to medicate with it, I mean, I'd rather her go through a doctor. And we've had conversations about it, and she knows how we feel about using those products, and we don't really approve of that. But at the same time, you know, if that's a product that helps her, I mean, I would be opposed to her using it as long as it's under a doctor's care.
Okay.
Eric, what we know about cannabis use is that although it can provide temporary relief from anxiety, it tends to exacerbate the anxiety and depression and low motivation. In the long run, it makes all of those things worse, but a person feels better at first when they're using. And so it would be hard to tease out what her true diagnosis is if she isn't sober from cannabis. And so I know that you're right to open up that conversation at least with curiosity to make it something that can be spoken about. And then she may be right now unable to get that follow through to show up for the appointment. And she may need one of the two of you to be willing to go with her. And so offering your support before making these things a requirement and getting curious about what she thinks she gets out of using and does it seem to help her anxiety, those things could at least open up that topic so that you can then move forward into offering to make it to an appointment with her. How would that be for you to give her that offer?
I think it'd be good. I think the hard part for us is to broach the subject and get her to admit that she uses it. Because to be quite honest, we know she uses it because we're able to intercept some texts once in a while. We know that's how she uses it. So,
I have a question. Eric. So how old did you say? How old is she?
22.
Okay. So I would like, Jacqui, let's talk about that transition into adulthood, because you're not dealing with a 16-year-old at this point. She's 22, and there's conversations that you have to have, I mean, about all these things. But Jacqui, I know that you had to manage this.
Yes, I have adult children. And the way that my husband and I approached it was really to let our children in all throughout their life, because our parents were so strict, and that didn't change any of the things we did or didn't do. So we took a different route with our kids, and our kids just didn't give us a lot of the same types of troubles. We had we will trust you until you give us a reason not to trust you motto. But there were certain things. I want you in the house before bars are closing, and I would get up and walk around and look, and so they just always knew that I was checking in to make sure everybody was in that should be in and nobody was in that shouldn't be in. But we have this open line of communication. My kids would say, "Mom, can I tell you something?" And from the first time I heard the question, my answer was, "You can tell me anything." And so by the time they were young adults, and now in their 30s, they can tell me anything. And so I would be curious with your daughter and let her know that you're concerned about what looks like depression and loneliness, and or maybe there's something going on in this relationship that's unhealthy and unsafe. And that's because you said they broke up. That took her down into a spiral, and then now they're back together, but she seems to still be down in the spiral. And so I would just invite her to a conversation so she knows she's not alone. What we experienced, my husband and I, with our youngest, was she was going through some things she did not tell us about. And one day I looked at her and I saw something was off. And I said, you can always come home. And she came home. She had been living with her boyfriend at the time, and she came home, but she didn't know that there was safety there. I think she felt that there might have been judgment because she made the choice to move out and live with him, which we weren't approving of, but we also didn't try to stop. And so she was able to come home because I opened my arms and said, "Hey, you can always come home. This will always be your home." And she did. And Thank God, because now she has this wonderful husband and great life, and they're doing wonderful. But there was a moment where she didn't know that we were still her safe place. And so I would encourage you to just have an honest conversation with your daughter about your concern for her, your love for her, and your desire for her to have a safe place to come as an adult. It's challenging parenting young adults. They don't tell us.
And the thing about that, I love about that though, Jacqui, Eric, this is your opportunity. You and your wife can sit with her as an adult and say, listen, we're going to start this. We're going to feel awkward. And we want you to know we love you. We want the best for you. And we're here for you. And, then you can say, we're pretty sure you're using cannabis. I mean, and not from a convicting place, but just from let's get connected here, because that's going to open up more opportunities for you to help her in whatever struggle she's in.
And if you already know that she is using cannabis, you already know that for a fact, then you just say, how is cannabis impacting you?
There you go.
Right? Like, how is that? How is it? Or is it helping alleviate some anxiety? Is it making you more tired? Do you think that that's what's behind the low motivation and the forgetting appointments? Because if that's the case, maybe we should make a shift, and we can help you. Maybe we help you by, like Dr. Allah said, going to that first appointment with you. We just want to support you, and we feel like you're in pain, and that's hurting us too. We just want to come alongside. And I think this, like Becky said, this is a good time to open up that conversation, because she's 22, and there will be many more adult conversations that need to happen. When she can expect you all to treat her like an adult and have an adult conversation, she'll be more apt to come to you with things. And respectfully, my kids will text me or call me and say, I need to talk to you about something. What's your bandwidth? Because they know I'm a therapist. Yeah. They want to know if I can take it in right now. And we can talk about things that happened in their childhood, or memories that they had, or dreams that they had, but they can talk to me about absolutely anything. And we've kind of groomed them that way. And I know that they have other people as well that they can go to, but having her feel confident and comfortable coming to you all with anything that's going on in her life, I think will set her up for success going forward.
Right. And, just to say, you're not parenting her anymore. This is a new stage. Mm-hmm. We're going to send you a copy of Dr. Jim Burns' book, Doing Life with Your Adult Children, Keeping the Welcome Mat Out and Your Mouth Shut. And there should be another byline that says chomping on your tongue from time to time. But it's a great book. I'm glad you called, Eric. We'll be praying for the situation, and look forward to hearing some good news. We're going to continue to go to the phones, and you can call us 1-800-229-3000. Let's talk to Raj, who's calling us from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, listens on WBYN. Hello, Raj. Thanks for calling. How can we help you today?
Yes, thank you. My name is Raj, and thank you for taking my call. I listen to your program quite often, and it is very helpful. And I'm down in my dumps this holiday season, unfortunately. My wife and I are going through really serious problems. And so my wife has mentioned that I have adultery, and I have not been with any woman. I've not done anything. And she says I've committed adultery in my mind, and she can see through her dreams. I don't know how God shows her and doesn't show me that I'm doing wrong. And if I knew that, I would stop that, and I would not even do some of the things that she's seeing. I want to know why I cannot see it and she can see. And the only time I could think of this happening is I mentioned that one time somebody got fired at work, and there are several women working in our area in the department. And I said, well, this lady, instead of this lady, I said, my lady fired this guy, and I don't think it was fair. She said, why would you say this, my lady instead of this lady? And there are other issues there beyond that. And because I have to take care of my family, my mother, and, so it's these things. I didn't make her a priority in my life. So we've been married for 34 years, and now the whole thing is falling apart.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
I rarely talk to her. She rarely gives me a text message reply or anything, so I'm lost for words.
Raj, how long has the separation been happening?
This is almost 6 to 8 months, and she has cancer, so I'm battling with that one too. I'm trying to get her to, not being so aggressive on this. I want to be positive, helpful, and there's so many things just not coming close. And God forbid, if I know anything, I would definitely put a stop to it. And I've been reading your books and a couple other things.
Well, Raj,
answers here.
You can hear the break. The music's coming up, but don't hang up. We'll be back after the break. It's a heartbreaking situation. It really is. You've got a lot going on, and like you said, the holidays, it just exacerbates everything. I think we can give you some direction. It's hard because it feels like it's piling on. It's not just one thing, it's a couple of things. And then there's that many more. And it takes endurance to get through difficult times like that. Jacqui and Alice will share their wisdom when we come back. And if you have some struggles, you can call us too, 1-800-229-3000. We will be right back after this.
Before coming to this weekend, I have been dealing with the guilt and shame of an abortion that I had 20 years ago. And we have 3 awesome kids. But every time I kept getting close to the Lord, kids saying to me, "You're the best mom." That voice in the back said, "You're a horrible mother. Look what you did to that child. You killed somebody. You don't deserve any of this, and you're not worthy." To help free me from my guilt and see that I would not make the same decision today, I would make a different decision, and I am a great mom, and God can use me.
This is Steve Arterburn, and this is the story of a new life. After 20 years of guilt and shame, she attended a workshop and now is free. You can be part of offering hope to others as you step out in faith by donating to New Life Ministries.
To make your tax-deductible gift, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE or visit newlife.com and click Donate. Chris Williams on coaching.
Oftentimes I get asked, what is the difference between therapy and coaching? The biggest difference between the two is that a therapist is going to be looking for a diagnosable mental health condition, whereas a coach is going to look at a particular issue and help a person work through that.
If you need a coach, call New Life today and ask about the New Life Coaching Network. Our coaches have been trained and screened with the same intensive process we use for our network counselors.
If you're looking at an issue in your life that you just kind of want to change, whether it be your weight or leadership or other areas of behavioral patterns, check out coaching. There can be some really, really helpful things for you.
Take control of your life and take action to achieve your goals. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433 and talk to us about getting a New Life coach. 1-800-NEW-LIFE. We'd love to hear from you. If you have a question or a comment, call toll-free 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
Welcome back. We are grateful that you're listening. If you have a question that you want to ask us, call us 1-800-229-3000. We're talking with Raj right now, who's got a really difficult situation. He and his wife of 34 years have been separated for months. She is ill. She has accused Raj of being unfaithful, and it's a lot. Alice, let's start with you. How can we help Raj get through this difficulty?
Well, Raj, to be falsely accused by your wife and that she has the evidence from her dreams must be just befuddling to you, because how do you fix that when she believes she's being perhaps told by God that you were unfaithful? And I heard that you have been faithful. I want to check on one area. Have you ever used pornography?
Not since we've been married. A long time ago, whenever I was young, I was on active duty, and I can't make excuses for. But that way back when, a wonderful wife. I cannot discount anything for her.
Thank you for your honesty. That previously, yes, but not during the marriage. When we're falsely accused, I usually go through a list of a couple of different questions. Sometimes a spouse accuses because they're the ones involved in some form of infidelity, which is just an awful thing to have to consider. Or perhaps your wife has experienced infidelity in another relationship or in her family of origin, and sometimes we project that out onto our spouse, wondering, questioning if they're also unfaithful to us like this other person was in our life. And so a spouse can receive the accusation that does not belong to them. Do you think either of those two situations fit for your wife?
It does not. I don't even see it. Maybe I'm blind. I'm called immature because she's a smart person in the family, or she's smart. She can see everything in my life, and I give her an open slate. Do whatever you like, anything you like. I'll game to it. You're my wife. I'll live for you. I don't know what else to say, but she said I don't have any feelings for you. And she's got cancer, so it's my fault.
Raj, what kind of cancer? Where's her cancer?
Breast cancer.
Is she on medication or chemo or anything?
She's going through chemo. Yes, she's going through chemo, and unfortunately, she.
Did this begin before the chemo or after?
I'm sorry. Say that again.
Did the accusations start before cancer?
Before.
So before the cancer started, she was having these dreams and saying that God was showing her that you were lusting, you were being unfaithful in your mind, right?
Yes.
And then the cancer came.
Cancer came, yes, and she before that she has hives, and she had what do they call this? She has a lot of stressful situations, and I said, babe, what is it? What is it I can do for you? How can I change? And, so she just.
Have you all ever gone to couples therapy?
I just even recently our church was having a marriage seminar, and I said, well, let's go to it. She said, no, this is already past. We're too old for this. We don't need to go to this. We are just here. If you don't get it by now, you're not going to get it.
Raj, you have made so many good offers, and she just has rejected all of them. And I heard that you're reading books, which is a good move to make. Raj, if you have not yet started your own individual counseling, now is the time. Even though she's not willing to participate, putting your desire to do anything into action so that you build up that evidence for her of, I truly am willing to do anything, and it's not just words. This is what I'm doing. I hear she's shutting down with communication with you, but I want you to get into individual work, one, so that you can grieve what's happening and strategize with a coach or with a counselor, but then also to give her objective proof. This is what I'm willing to do for our marriage.
This is one of the reasons I'm calling. I'm trying to understand what in the world do I do. I'm so lost. We have two adult kids. We are way. I'm getting ready to retire. I retired from active duty military. I retired like 2 more times, and this was time for golden years to go in the sunset. And
did you deploy a lot during your time in the military? Were you apart often? You did not.
Many times.
Many times?
Many times. I've been, many times. But she's been wonderful. I mean, she has been wonderful. I cannot even complain. I cannot say anything wrong about her. Anything. She got deployed Desert Storm. She, took care of her first daughter. She was born during that time. And so it's just, I'm lost for answers. God, show me. Show me who I am. If I'm doing the wrong, strike me now.
Yeah.
Raj, do you have a relationship with a counselor right now, or do you have a support group that you're involved with?
Nothing.
Okay.
I feel so lost.
All right. Well, that's going to be step one. Whether it is somebody we can connect you with, or even the VA can provide some support, but you have to have people around you. You're lost because you're all by yourself. And this has been devastating. And the same thought process that got you into this is not going to be the same one that's going to get you out. You've tried everything that you can to reach out. We hear the sadness, but I want you to get the support and the structure that you need in order for you to make steps forward. We know that it is possible to get healing even when it seems all is lost. And I don't want you to give up hope. We're going to connect you with somebody in the network that's in your area. We're also going to show you, connect you with a life recovery group. I want you to make the commitment to do one thing for yourself as you continue to look for answers to resolve this marital issue. We're so glad you called. We'll be praying for you, Raj.
For most of my life, I've been dealing with an opiate addiction.
Why is opioid addiction quickly becoming one of our nation's biggest killers? Maybe it's because it isn't only those who are addicted who are in denial.
We did what I see so many parents do, is it can't be an addiction. There's something medically wrong.
It's impossible to solve a problem when you don't know what you're up against, and families will try to find any explanation except the one that will put them on the right path.
Alcoholism and drug addiction is a family disease. It doesn't affect just the individual.
If someone you love is abusing painkillers, know what you're up against. It's time to admit its addiction and seek treatment. Call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. We have partner treatment centers around the country. Call 1-800-639-5433 or visit us online at newlife.com.
We just made a decision. We will do whatever it takes.
1-800-NEW-LIFE.
I was sort of vaguely familiar that the 12 steps had some origination in the Bible. I found Life Recovery, and one of the things I liked so much was that it had such a broad appeal. It wasn't limited to just alcohol or drugs, that it was addressing a wide range of problems.
At New Life, we believe everyone can benefit from a life recovery experience. There are life recovery groups all over the country. They take place online, in conference calls, and in person. And if there isn't one in your area, we can help you start one. We have startup materials, leaders' guides, CDs, Bibles, and more, all with discounts available for groups. Call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE and ask for Terry Ward. The 12 Steps have long been a great help to people in recovery because much of the 12 Steps' power comes from the fact that they capture principles clearly revealed in the Bible.
The 12 steps is really a pattern for all of us as Christians.
Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433. We're glad you joined us for New Life Live. To be a part of the program, call 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
Welcome back. You know, the beginning of a new year, a lot of us are starting in our Bible reading plans and our devotional plans, and we've got a great devotional for the gift of any amount. We're going to send you the 1-year Life Recovery Prayer Devotional. And so there's some inspiration, there's scriptures, there's prayer, and it's a great way for you to get a rhythm of having God's word and prayer and, of course, recovery in your life. So give us a call, and, a donation of any amount is going to continue to help so many people find help and hope in this new year, and we're grateful to be here for you. We're going to go back to the calls, and we're going to talk with Jean, who's calling us from Illinois, listens on Sirius XM. Hi, Jean. How can we help you today?
Hi there. I know your time is limited, so I'm trying to get right to the problem. Our son is married. He's 50 years old. We've never had a real good relationship with him, but we've tried, and there's been a lot of problems between us and his wife. My question is this. About almost 2 years ago in June, I was visiting his wife and the kids, and she all of a sudden exploded at me just lost it, like she had built up stuff for years. And she's kind of a little bit of a manipulator, but our son has never wanted to communicate. He lets her do it all. And here's my question right now. We have 2 grandsons. One is going to be 16. He's got really severe cerebral palsy, a lot of major problems he's went through with them. And then we have another grandson they adopted who's 6. And they won't let us see them. Ever since she kicked me out of her house when she blew up, I was very godly. I didn't retreat back at all. I left. But he won't respond to texts, any mail, anything. I mean, we can't get any. The last time he said anything to my husband and I was a year ago in August, We both wished him a happy birthday. He said, thank you, that was it. And it's just devastating for my husband and I, and we want to try and rectify things, but it's obvious that they're not willing to do that.
Jean,
we don't.
I have a question. In the blow-up, did you learn anything?
Some of what she accused me of, most of it, to be honest with you, I mean, I did a lot of thinking. It broke my heart to learn anything. I guess I was shocked that she exploded on me, and I was aware of a lot of things with our son. And I learned that it was worse than what I thought.
Okay.
I mean, we knew it was bad.
And Jean, if you boiled it down to what their main complaint is about you and your husband, even if it's not true, what is that complaint?
Over the years, there's been a lot of jealousy with our daughter, his sister. There's a lot of problems. She's doing much better, but there's been a lot of jealousy. It got worse about a year before this when I quit telling my daughter-in-law private stuff. She kept asking, she's very nosy like her mother, and I don't mean to be mean, but they ask questions that are inappropriate, that are none of their business, like private things about money and things in our lives. And I just quit. I've always been very nice and just said, I don't want to talk about it or whatever. And it changed after that. She completely, with her, it got worse. And in the past, when I went over there to their house, our son barely talked to us. And he would kind of leave the room when I'd come sometimes.
Did you have that relationship with him before he got married?
Oh, you mean oh, yeah. Well, yeah, he was always kind of distant and never really. There's some stuff from way years ago that I think he's never forgiven, and just a lot of stuff. He's always kept things inside, like my husband did.
And Gina, if you gave us one of those things he hasn't forgiven, what would it be?
Oh boy, I would say my husband used to get drunk all the time years ago when he was a kid, and my husband and I used to fight horribly, and I had 2 nervous breakdowns years ago. I think just his idea